All right, very pleased to have with us on the program the sheriff in Spartanburg County, South Carolina, Sheriff Chuck Wright. Sheriff, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening to you. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for coming back on the program. It's good talking to you. And what is going on with Spartanburg County Councilman Michael Brown, who says it is, quote, irresponsible, irreprehensible, and, of course, incendiary if you, the sheriff, keep telling people to get their right to carry licenses?
Al, I don't know why he made those comments other than the fact that he's a left-wing liberal. And, you know, that's what you expect out of left-wing liberals. So, you know, I did speak to the news several times a day about that. And I told him, I said, well, my comments were based off the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution and the state law. His was just an opinion.
Well, absolutely right. And, you know, I got to tell you, I mean, last time we talked, it was after that attempted abduction in a local park there. And you had urged women to get their right to carry licenses. Since then, we've seen a couple of armed citizen stories from Spartanburg County that have been reported, including this robbery or attempted robbery of a Waffle House over the weekend, where a patron who was a right to carry holder, I guess, put a stop to that armed robbery.
Yeah, Michael Brown kept referring to stop the violence. Well, that gentleman that had the CWP, by God, stopped the violence in a hurry, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. You know, I got to ask you, with Mr. Brown's comments, irresponsible, irreprehensible, and incendiary to tell people to get their concealed carry license because he believes that it promotes a, quote, environment of lawlessness in the community. Where are the harsh words for the actual lawbreakers in Spartanburg County from the councilman?
Well, you have to understand he's a defense attorney and he's a left-wing liberal. So, I mean, he's got plans to run for another office, and he's just trying to use me as a stepping stool for some media times. Pretty much about all I can figure.
So this, what you think, was just sort of an attempt to get some publicity for himself, then?
Yeah, I told him. I said, "You're so important they didn't write it for 2 days." So, I mean, you know, he has a right to his opinion. I got a young man that's serving in the United States Air Force that's overseas right now protecting his rights to speak out.
Yeah.
I have another son that's served 4 years in the Air Force protecting people like his rights to speak out. And I don't care. He has a right to his wrong opinion. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, it certainly seems like a lot of folks in Spartanburg County really don't care what the councilman's opinion is. I understand, based on local media reports there, that since your statement back on Halloween that women in the area need to know how to shoot a gun, they need to be responsible gun owners, and they need to get their right to carry license, that 647 individuals have applied to get their concealed carry license?
They have. I signed every one of those as the elected sheriff, and I've only had to turn down about 6 of them because of some background issues. But, if you qualify according to our state and you want to carry a pistol, and I applaud anybody that wants to carry any kind of weapon as long as it's lawful. I applaud you for going about doing it the right way, because we all know these thugs that we're not hugging no more in Spartanburg are not getting their concealed weapons permit. They're stealing their stuff. And let me just say something about that Waffle House shooting. It was a tragedy that we lost a 19-year-old. It's a tragic situation when you lose a 19-year-old to a car wreck or to a natural death or to an armed robbery with a mask and a gun. It's still tragic. But the gentleman that had a CWP, he told him, he said, "Please stop. I'm going to call law enforcement and let them come and handle this."
Right.
The guy turned the gun on him, and, he shot him 3 times, and he was dead right there.
You know, this is something that we've talked about with other armed citizen stories. No right to carry holder wakes up in the morning and puts on his or her gun and says, I really hope today's the day that I become the victim of a violent crime and get to fight back. I mean, that's not why people carry.
Well, I was on Judge Janine Pirro
from
New York, and I asked the girl that was debating me, who was a victim's advocate, and I was asking her, I said, how's that working out when you're telling women to stand there and take it, you idiot? But anyway, I said, you buy a fire extinguisher in hopes that you never, ever, ever have to use it, but it's there in case you need it. And that's the reason why CWP holders who are cognizant of the fact that our form of government don't help the victims very much. They only protect the idiots that go out there and repeat and repeat and repeat and make more victims. I just quit hugging thugs. I'm not going to be a thug hugger no more. They're going to comply, or hopefully we can get them in jail. That would be my first option. But, if they draw guns on us, roll the dice there, pal.
Well, and that's the thing, whether you're talking about what your deputies do, what these armed citizens do, ultimately they are reacting to the lawless acts of another. And if you don't want to see a tragedy like this unfold, then tell your 19-year-old not to go rob a Waffle House. Tell your children to stay on the right side of the law. And, tell your spouses, your significant others, your boyfriends, your sisters, your cousins, whoever, don't go out there and commit a violent crime because, I'll tell you what, in Spartanburg County, South Carolina, you may run into somebody who is willing to defend himself or herself.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, this young man came in with another young man, and they challenged 12 people. The most robberies occur when you have a clerk there, and it's a crime of opportunity. It's in, it's out. You might get away for a while, you might not. But very seldom do you see somebody come in and challenge 12 people with a weapon. This guy had very bad intentions. His mother and father are good people, and they said, we don't understand why he did that. And they never one time said the other guy shouldn't have killed him. They just simply said, we don't know why our son did that, and our heart broke, and we're hurt. And I am with them because I've got children, and no matter how dumb your choices are, I'm sorry this kid had to lose his life over his bad choice.
Oh, well, absolutely.
He was putting guns to the back of people's heads and making them lay down. I'm like, hey, look here, man. This is not the Fast and the Furious from the government. We're going to do something about this.
Yeah. So, Sheriff, how would you describe crime right now in Spartanburg County, South Carolina? I mean, do you think armed citizen stories like this have a deterrent effect? Do you think the bad guys keep it in the back of their mind that they may not run into a bunch of compliant victims?
Yeah, I think so. There's a reduction in crime. We're making it better. I just don't have an issue with anybody having an opinion. And you know what? He did attack me personally, and I'm taking the high road on that. I'm not going to give him the satisfaction of arguing with him. If he was somebody that I respected, if he was somebody that was well influential and had done a lot of really good things in Spartanburg County, maybe I would want to talk to him a little more, but I just don't really care what he says. Because his opinion doesn't matter to me. I think the night that he said it, which was Monday night, I went to bed about 9:45. I was snoring by 9:46. I mean, if my governor had said something like that, I'd have been like, wait a minute. There's a problem here.
I don't think Governor Haley has said anything like that.
He won't.
Hey, Sheriff, listen, it is always a real pleasure to talk to you, sir. Thank you so much for doing what you do and for standing up for the Second Amendment and the rights of law-abiding residents there in Spartanburg County to defend themselves.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be on your show, and God bless America.
Thank you so much. Sheriff Chuck Wright joining us from Spartanburg County, South Carolina.